Hunter x Hunter is a mirror to our realm. Part 1. Locations. The Japanese manga / comic, second American comic, and anime Hunter x Hunter is, in my opinion, the universal conspiracy theory hidden in plain sight. It is a mirror to our world, but pretty much everything within the manga / anime is possible in real life within reason. I've compiled so many similarities between this manga and our world that it would be a waste not to address them finally. For anyone that's unfamiliar with Hunter x Hunter, here's a quick rundown. The Hunter Association is a non-governmental organization, an NGO. NGOs, in my opinion, low-key control the entire world. The Rothschilds have like 210 NGOs. The Rockefellers have like 150. Look into WANGO. That's the World Association of Non-Governmental Organizations. It's a very interesting organization. Anyway, so the Hunter Association is responsible for the testing and licensing of hunters, which are individuals who have proven themselves through a rigorous exam process to be elite members of humanity. Many people die trying to pass the Hunter exam, but with the passing of the Hunter exam, an applicant is rewarded with a license, but that only gets them so far. They must also pass a secret exam. The secret exam requires that the hunter learn something called Nen. Once the secret exam is passed, hunters are allowed access to 95% of all ancient ruins on Earth. So the pyramids, every part of the pyramid, every single pyramid, all the Mayan pyramids, all the ancient ruins everywhere. The Chinese pyramid that no one's allowed to go to, the Chinese terracotta soldiers, all that stuff. They get unfettered access to all that. They get unfettered access to the Smithsonian, unfettered access to the Library of Congress, and the Vatican vaults, etc. They're basically given complete diplomatic immunity from all laws, except they can't do certain things like murder, and this is key, they can't venture past the Antarctic ice wall. That's specifically one of the things they're not allowed to do. In the manga, it's called the Dark Continent. And I'll discuss this later. The similarities between the Dark Continent and Hunter x Hunter. And Antarctica. Typically, hunters devote themselves to tracking down priceless items, exploring mystical places, and tracking the unseen wonders of the world. Like, who are these people that like find these ruins, right? Who are these explorers that go to the Amazon rainforest to find some, I don't know, ancient race or something, or some weird ruin that no one can get near, and no one understands why they can't get near it? It probably has something to do with Nen, which I'll explain more later. There exists only like 800 or so hunters in the entire world. So that's the top 800 humans out of 8 billion, if that's the accurate number for the amount of people on Earth. 60 of the top 100 richest humans on the planet are hunters. Becoming a millionaire for a hunter is considered one of the easiest hunts. There are around 100 or so Nen users that aren't actually hunters. And these are like, they learn Nen through like underworld means, I guess. And one of them is Lucifer Morningstar in the flesh. He's not called that, but... And all these Nen users are subtly the true rulers of the realm. So you can think of end users as how the top 1,000 or so humans on the planet subtly, indirectly rule the world. If you were the top 1,000 out of 8 billion humans, what do you think you would be like? All right, this first part. The world map in Hunter x Hunter is clearly our map. Real life map. But it's like inverted and like flipped. It's like a mirrored version, kind of. You see, this is clearly America with the Mexico, America, Alaska, Canada, Greenland. This is clearly Australia, clearly Africa over here, clearly South America, and this is clearly Asia and Europe combined. Yeah. I don't know what this is. This is Japan, but you can see how it basically mirrors our world, right? I found this map actually in the TV show called Snowpiercer. It was just randomly in that show for like a few seconds. Why did the map in that show look like that? Can you find another map like that on Earth in any like college textbook or anything? No, you can't. But why would they put that map into the show then? And it kind of looks like the Hunter x Hunter map. These are two articles that basically say every single world map is wrong because their use of the Tropic of Capricorn and Tropic of Cancer are incorrect, according to our own sky. Basically, the astronomy and astrology equate to a clock, the sky clock. It's like the sun, moon, and stars and planets are all a part of a clock in the sky, a sky clock. And according to the sky clock, we're not in the Tropic of Capricorn or Cancer. So every map that has the Tropic of Capricorn or Cancer is fabricated, fake, or really, really old. And it's been modified to fit some narrative or whatever. The wetlands in the beginning of Hunter x Hunter during the exam, I think equates to like an Amazon rainforest or Vietnam jungles or something like that. These pictures are from Colonel Percy Hawsett. He's an English colonel who explored the Amazon rainforest back in like, I think it was like the late 1800s or early 1900s. And he even found this man ape, he called it. And it looks oddly similar to this thing. And here he is meeting with like a tribe he found in the middle of the Amazon rainforest. Here's this quote on it, which I find fascinating. On the Amazon rainforest, a poisoned hell that could never be explored on foot. 60-foot anacondas capable of picking a man out of a canoe, savage ape men, an infested plain of deadly snakes, bats so big they look like pterodactyls, ferocious black panthers, white Indian tribes, swarms of biting bees, fires in the distance. Why does fires in the distance sound like the most frightening thing out of all those things? Maybe like the fear of the unknown, maybe? I don't know. Yeah, that's what he found, and I think they killed this ape and then they took a picture of it, and it kind of looks like this thing. All right, so next location, Split Mountain in Hunter x Hunter looks pretty similar to Ayers Rock in Australia. They're both red giant rocks that just jut out of nowhere, and they have a bunch of cracks in them. in the opening of Hunter x Hunter, they showed this image of an evil haunt, and I think it equates to the dragon's blood tree or the baobab tree located in Madagascar. And they look pretty damn similar to me. This is like a combination of this and this. And they say that the dragon's blood tree, which is located in Tenerife, Canary Islands, off northwest Africa, to be the real life location of the Garden of Eden. Anyway, next location. The world tree of Hunter x Hunter equates to the world trees of reality. One of the best examples is Devil's Tower in Missouri of the United States. Look at this thing. It's a petrified tree that was cut. All the fibers are like the fibers of a tree. No rock has like moves out like that, like a trunk of a tree. Anyway, what Ging says is the truth of this tree is that it's just a young sapling. It's still growing. It's a tree that didn't have enough nutrients. Therefore, a world tree that only grew this much. A real world tree intakes magma, puts its roots on a mountain range, and surpasses the atmosphere and becomes even bigger. Well, that's what the world tree in Hunter x Hunter is supposed to look like. This is what Devil's Tower looks like. And it's not just Devil's Tower. There's thousands of examples of this. And I'm only showing the examples where it was like a clean cut. There's examples of like cuts where it looks like a chainsaw was used. Where there's like normally when you fell a tree, there's like what the hell is it? I forget what it's called. There's like the last sliver that's left over, and it sticks up out of the tree. It's a real small like line, and there's like thousands of like supposed mountains that had this like small slither that looks like it was taken down by a chainsaw. It's a fascinating subject. Anyway, so these are all examples of it. Tree. That definitely looks like a tree. That definitely looks like a giant cedar. I mean, I would say it's kind of like fishy if it was just Devil's Tower, but it's literally everywhere, and there's thousands of examples. That doesn't look like a mountain. It looks like a tree. Like the base of a trunk of a tree. Mountains don't look like that. You know what I mean? Alright, anyway. But if you go by the way you measure the height of a tree, on average, is you take their diameter and then you multiply it by 20. Some of these pictures here have diameters that are like 500 kilometers. Or not 500. Yeah. Like 500 kilometers. That's like 500 kilometers times 20 is, I don't know. It's above the atmosphere of Earth. The atmosphere of Earth is around 100,000 meters, which is 100 kilometers. So it goes way above the atmosphere. And if you think about it, I think the world is not infinitely expanding outwards, and we're just insignificant specks in the ever-expanding universe. It's more like both. We're both insignificant specks and extremely significant specks. in the sense that the world is infinitely fractal. It's not ever expanding, it's just fractal. So the amount of time for 1 year for like a blood cell in your body is like 100,000 years for that blood cell. But 1 year for us, and then for Earth, it would be like 5 minutes. That's the amount of time. And so time and space are fractally proportional. So the smaller you are, the slower the time is. So it would appear faster to us. Far faster. That's why I think squirrels look so like jittery. Why they like jerk around like really fast. Well, if you look at at a squirrel's average age of death, it's about like 11 times smaller than the average age of a human's death. So maybe they move 11 times faster than humans. They perceive time 11 times faster is what I mean. Because time is 11 times slower for them. And then why does everyone know that a dog year is 7 dog years is 1 human year? Why does everyone know that? And dogs just so happen to be, on average, 7 times smaller than humans in size in size. So maybe size has something to do with your perception of time. Maybe this is why giants are always like, in all the movies and stuff, giants always talk real slow, right? Because they're perceiving time at a slower rate because we're smaller than them. I think that applies to everything. So it goes down to your cells. Your cells perceive the time that you're perceiving at like 100,000 times faster, something like that. So in this way, we are actually walking, talking centers of an entire universe, because each of our cells is a part of us, and they're all conscious. Every single cell is conscious. Conscious. Every single cell is conscious, is what I'm saying. So we are the center of the universe, and we're also insignificant specks of Earth, or whatever's above it, like larger than Earth. So in this way, I think the way these world trees could be explained is like, look at the hair on your arms. Wouldn't these be considered like trees? The hair on your arm? If you were a cell, if you were a skin cell, wouldn't the hair that we can see be considered a tree that exits the atmosphere and grows even bigger? So it gets outside of the bounds of the cell that it spawns from. Right? That's what a piece of hair would seem like from the point of view of the cell. I don't know. It's just something I thought of. All right, next location. Zevil Island of Hunter x Hunter equates to Devil Island, French Guiana. I don't know how to say that. I don't know. I just thought it was weird that they would use the name Zevil Island. It sounds too similar to Devil Island, right? And there actually is a Devil Island. And they look sort of similar, not really. But if you were a billionaire, like the top 60 richest people in the world, top 60 out of 100 are hunters. So they're like billionaires. If you are a billionaire hunter, purchasing islands like this would be like nothing to you. And that's how they do these tests. They do them on like random islands that the association, the NGO, or some hunter has bought just for that purpose. They would easily be able to do that. The testing gate of the Zoldyck family equates to the locked doors of the Padmana Brahmaswamy temple in Trivandrum, Kerala, India. This could either be this door here that's never been opened, apparently, supposedly, allegedly, could either be the testing gates of the Zoldicks, or it could be the gates to the New World that are shown in the manga. I don't think they're shown in the actual anime during the Dark Continent arc. But I didn't put that in there. I should put that in. York New City is on the left, and New York City is on the right. They're clearly the same city, just like slightly altered. Instead of airplanes, they got giant blimps, airships, if you will. Now this is where it gets really, really interesting, or weird. Okay, on the left you got the Twin Towers at night. On the right, you got the cemetery building of Hunter x Hunter. 2 towers. I mean, they're connected, but it's 2 towers at night. They look pretty darn similar to me. Okay, in September 2001, wait a second. I can play this real quick. This is apparently supposed to be a video of the explosion on the tower without any plane hitting the tower. I don't know if it's real or if it's CGI or whatever's going on, but it certainly looks like no plane hits it. And I'm not making a claim either way. I don't know if it's real, and I just find it really interesting. This video is really interesting as well, but I don't agree with everything it said. I just find it compelling as it pertains to Hunter x Hunter. So, according to the Hunter x Hunter wiki, the York New City story arc started around November or December of 1999, and it ended in May or June of 2001. In Hunter x Hunter, the attack on the cemetery building during the York New City arc happens. It happens within the story at almost the exact date as when the Twin Towers went down on September 11, 2001. It happens like a day before in September. So this means that the author of Hunter x Hunter, Yoshihiro Togashi, featured a twin tower looking building called the Cemetery Building, located in York New City, get destroyed after a huge explosion on one of its top floors in September of 2001. That's when it occurs in the story. And this was published. He wrote this 3 or 4 months before the real actual Twin Tower buildings located in New York City collapsed after a huge explosion on one of its top floors in September 2001. So that's just I'm sure that's just a coincidence, right? Maybe it wasn't planes that hit the tower. Maybe it was actually the Hunter x Hunter version of it, where the current ruler of the realm, Lucifer Morningstar, in the flesh, fought 2 world-class human assassins, Silva and Zeno Zoldyck. And if you watch the fight, it begins. The entire fight starts with Silva and Zeno walk into a room, and Corolla, which is Lucifer, basically, he's standing on a stage when they walk into the room. All the world's a stage? Is that not the biggest stage ever? 9/11? Are you kidding me? And he's standing on the stage, and then they come in and they attack each other. And it ends with a giant explosion.
Not a problem. 0.1 milligrams of that stuff is more than enough.
That you Wheeler me?
Yeah. Where's my client?
He's here.
We've disposed of the 10 Dawns. And tell him to wire the money to the account. He knows the one.
Up we go. Well, what a surprise. Seems we both get to live another day.
But your mission...
The 10 Dons were our clients, you see. And so now that they've all been disposed of, things have changed.
I was the one who commissioned Illumi to assassinate the 10 Dons. Did you know that?
Of course I did. But that is irrelevant. Makes no difference. We simply do the job we're hired to do and nothing more.
I understand. So, can I ask you something? If we were to fight, just the two of us, which of us would win?
I would, there's no question about it. Though it would be a different story altogether if you were actually trying to kill me. Damn insolent brat.
So he knew?
I don't know, I just find it compelling. That all lined up. The cemetery building, Lucifer fighting 2 human assassins, world-class assassins, in September 2001, on the top floor, and the scene starts with Lucifer standing on a stage. I gotta add that to this. Alright, the next location is, I'm gonna make another part to this series exclusively about the Dark Continent, but let's just start with this. The Dark Continent, it could equate to space, like what's the final frontier out there? Or it could equate to the land beyond the so-called ice wall. If you look at this map here, this is what they say the real map of Hunter x Hunter is. It's like this tiny little part is what we know as the world. Even though we're in this giant lake and there's land everywhere around it. And this kind of shows it. It's called the, I think it's called the Infinite Map, the Infinite Flat Map or something like that. I don't know, the guy's like charging people to get copies of it. That's why it says Nas. That's the guy's YouTube channel, I think. And this is how it's depicted in the manga. You see how small our world actually is. And outside the lake, we got all these sea monsters and whatnot. And then you get this massive land mass and it keeps going forever. And if you were a cell inside of a giant, like imagine if Earth is a cell inside of a human of that size. It would probably seem like this to the inhabitants of that cell, right? It's fractal. Universe is fractal. It's infinitely fractal. And then this is the flat earther map or whatever. And then I thought this was really interesting because it kind of looks like the flat earth model or the concave earth model. But you can watch that on your own time. I don't keep going. It's basically saying like the one, I'll just show it, whatever. One Picard went up and another Picard went into the ocean. And both things that they see happens to look like they're in water. The water's above, water's below, as above, so below. Breaks through the dome. And then this is the brother who went down into the ocean depths. The lowest point ever, apparently, at that time. And both places look almost exactly the same. As above, so below. Alright, this scene is extremely interesting. Oh no, this isn't the one. Never mind. Go watch that though, it's still very interesting. In the scene, Truman is sitting on a park bench and he starts looking at a book, and the book has a map in it. And it looks oddly, I don't know. What is that? Kind of looks like a one of those pictures. There's concave Earth pictures, or there's flat Earth pictures, doesn't it? I don't know for sure, but it's definitely not a fucking globe there, is it? Next part. It could also, Darkon, it could also be the land within Hollow Earth, and there's a bunch of stories I've come across that seem legitimate. Like Vril, the Coming Race, is about a guy who went down a mine shaft in Germany that led to a cave that led to a whole nother world, and a whole nother civilization of humans that utilized something called Vril. And they were way more advanced than us. And this is the weirdest one. This is where it got really weird. Alright, there's this... Oh shit, I don't have it. Hold up. Come on. Here we go. What the hell is this? He's looking for Truman. See, I wonder where he could possibly be. And he's standing... Gee, I wonder where he could possibly be. He's trying to find true man. The true man. And he says, gee, I wonder where he could possibly be. Right in front of a map of Fiji Island. And doesn't this look like kind of like Africa here? Connected to Asia? Wouldn't this like kind of be like America? Or something like that? Why would they do that? This makes it sound like the Fiji Island is like Lake Mobius. To me. Like, how do you really know? I know this is weird, but like, how do you really know how big of a landmass you're on? Like, where you are located on a landmass, unless you have like a balloon and you go straight up and you map the land. Like, even when you're in a plane, you don't really see the coastline. You rarely see the coastline, that to the point that you can map it out, because you're not high enough. So how do we really actually know? I don't know. Maybe there is a way to figure it out, but these people don't do shit. A movie called The True Man Show doesn't do shit where they purposely put a character in front of a map of Fiji Island where he says, gee, I wonder where he could possibly be. Talking about true man. They don't do that kind of shit for shits and giggles. They do it because it has a freaking purpose. It has a real meaning. They're trying to tell us, hey, idiots. Look into it. I don't know. I actually applied to the CIA years ago, a couple years ago, and as a computer programmer. And I remember going on the website and looking up the jobs that they had open, and almost all of them were looking for cartographers. Why the fuck is the CIA looking for cartographers? Cartographers are the dudes that create maps of land masses. I don't know. I thought that was interesting. I didn't go into the CIA. They're all dumb boomers, but yeah. I do remember that cartographer thing, though. All right, let's get back to the article. I think I'm only going to be able to do the first one for this video. All right, so the next one will be... in Hunter x Hunter, there's Greed Island, which is like a game for NEN users within the world of Hunter x Hunter, and it's like an island that hunters bought because most of them are like ridiculously rich billionaires. So they bought this island and they turned it into like a training ground for NEN, And so this is the actual map of it. It's like a card game too. Kind of reminds me of the Illuminati card game. And this is what it would look like. And this island I found kind of looks like it. Like if it was rotated. And it's like a crown. I forget where I actually found it, and I'm not spending an hour looking for it again. But it was definitely like an English-owned island, like a crown-owned island in international waters. I think it was above, I don't know, it was either above Scotland or above Canada, one of those, or above, maybe above Russia. I honestly forget. But they just do look kind of similar. This is that opening there, and that's it there. Then this part here, I don't know. Or it might be Antarctica or something like that. Or Greenland. Because the name of the game in Hunter x Hunter is Greedland. That's what it's called in the game. Well, Greenland's really, really close to Greenland, right? And why is Greenland so surrounded in mystery? Like every single map like shows all the surrounding islands being green. But for some reason, Greenland's never shown green. It's always shown white. And if you try to do Google Earth on it, it's all blurry as shit. Apparently there's military bases on it. I don't know. It's like, this is all blocked out. So maybe that's the Greenland. That's the playground for Nen users or whatever. Next one. East Gorteau in Hunter x Hunter equates to North Korea. And this is pretty obvious in this show because this is the leader and he's an idiot. And the country lets no one in. Everything about it looks similar to North Korea. And it allows like this race of reptilians. They're called Chimera ants. And they're from outside of our little Lake Mobius or whatever. They came here and they're like an ant that immediately adapts whatever the queen eats. Well, the queen eventually gets a hold of a human and they become like super powerful in North Korea. And the king gets born and they have to send hunters to go kill these things because they can use Aurora, they can use Nen, they're born with it. And anyway, I'll get back to that. But extremely similar because the ruler of North Korea is some idiot that doesn't actually know how to rule. And it's kind of the same with North Korea. The tunnels used during the Hunter exam equate to the tunnels underneath most major cities on the planet. And yeah, looking dumb. Deep underground military bases. There's so much information on it. It's kind of hard not to deny it. Deep underground, there we go. During the Hunter exam, they have to go to Lone Pine Tree National Park. And in real life, there is a Lone Pine National Park in Montana. And they look pretty close, pretty similar. Lone Pine there and Lone Pine there. There's the pine. Pretty damn similar to me. While they're on this mountain, they meet a shapeshifter who might be we might call it a skinwalker, right? All right, in Hunter x Hunter, they have something called Heaven's Arena, which is a building where people fight to go to the next floor. And at the top 20 floors, they have death matches. But they're paid all kinds of money or whatever. And they use Nen in the top 20 floors. Well, it looks identical to Burj Khalifa, tallest building in the world. And in my opinion, there's no shot that a Saudi Arabian prince just builds the tallest building in the world just for bragging rights, right? That doesn't make any sense to me. If I was a Saudi, one of the richest people in the world, a Saudi Arabian oil tycoon prince, I'd be really into gambling on fights to the death, basically. So I'd be really interested in creating the tallest building in the world, where the top 20 floors are hidden or something, or like there's hidden floors on inside the building where there are fights to the death with the best fighters in the world. I'm not talking about UFC fighters. I'm talking about killers. And they would bet on it. That has to exist in the underworld. There's no way that doesn't exist in like a black market scene, in my opinion. And I think that's the real purpose for this, but I have no idea. But it would make sense if I was a Saudi prince. I would rather do it for a giant deathmatch gambling ring than a hotel for dumb tourists, right? I don't know. And that's part one.